All right, we're live.
All right, so, couple of housekeeping things to start with. I lost my first again here. All right. So, now you're making sense. Okay, so this, if anybody was planning on doing this tonight, it's been canceled due to weather. They've declared it too dangerous to go anywhere. I know, but so that's canceled. Also, then, given that the end of the world is supposed to happen tomorrow, do we want to find a pub that's closer to here to do instead of the place I planned?
You want to go to the same one we went to Mill? Or it was
They even had more food.
yeah, there
Wasn't too busy.
Yeah, quiet, and the food was good.
Yeah, but half the things in the menu were out of stock.
Out of stock, that's true.
That was kind of pretty efficient.
yeah, we're also more than 12 people. I don't think they can handle it.
Yeah. Anybody else send anything good?
We can take that to you.
We would have first to check if they are going to be closed, because they are closed lately. Today, we were trying to reserve in a place, and they are saying that due to weather, they are closed, they are not going to be open. So maybe we will have that same problem.
So what we brought a ton of alcohol to the board game night.
Hunker down.
Yeah, hunker down. And it just have like a mini bar. We can all just pool in. We get alcohol. Whatever is the legal limit is for us.
Okay. Do you mind checking into that?
I mean, if OpenStack is worried about insurance rates, they could just buy it, the alcohol, and have they do.
It's good to have some sort of sustenance before you get flattered.
Yeah, they gotta have beer in the stadium.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday. I got to ride the elevator with the kid. I wanted to ride it into the party like, you know, the guy.
We could get the apparently standard barbecue pizza, because everything has barbecue sauce.
All right, so we'll work on figuring something else out for this tomorrow, potentially. I guess we'll keep watching the weather too.
We
All right.
have a final count.
What?
When do you have to have a final count?
Well, I told them by the end of the day today. But I need to email them. Guess I could try to figure out how to call locally.
I got a local number.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I got a local SIM. Vodafone got that up to like $30.
Okay. I might cross paths with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than the Wi-Fi in my apartment. Not my home apartment.
Okay. So, next topic on the list was Tommy's. It's the Jay and Tommy show.
Okay.
All right, so support availability zone and volume type.
Okay.
Next.
Basically, this proposal represents a progressive process when we try to deploy a new OpenStack environment, because at the initial time, maybe some volume type only exists on some of the AVs due to maybe the environment hardware is not ready. So we want our web UI or Horizon to be aware of that. So when the user selects the regions and selects the AVs, the web UI should know which volume type is invalid or not. So we are proposing to use volume types extra spec to store the availability zones for this purpose.
So this is a request
idea, but extended a little bit more. And it covers other cases. For example, there are people that are deploying different regions and they want a default volume type in each region, but by defining the volume type, the customers calling the CLI they also have to define the availability zone. So you need to remember to define it. And the other way, you have an availability zone default for the region, and it will default to create it in your region or in a specific availability zone or whatever.
I mean, I definitely see that as being very, very useful. I sort of, the concept of a volume type default for any value within the volume type is something that I actually define within my own driver to take any, and like anything that you put in the extra specs, say for cost or something like that, and if you don't define it, I populate that for you because we need to have a value.
The way it would also work is if you have multiple availability zones defined in the volume type, you would, when filtering by availability zone, if you don't specify any specific one you want, it would go to any of those availability zones. So it will pass the filtering, and when you go to weight it, it would do it. It could go to any of those, depending on the free space and the weight you're using. And if you specify in the command line an availability zone, it could do, it would check that it's actually one of the ones available in there. So it covers quite a few possibilities. And we were discussing about it, and originally he was planning on adding an e-column and everything, and then we thought that probably could be easier and less code, everything less complex to just include it in the extra spec.
It sounds reasonable to get this information in one time, because at the time we need tangible keys. That's where if something like API will be available for such kind. Do we allow breakdown of different availability zone or not? Because we've got somewhere in configuration options going to availability zone. So availability doesn't go back or something like this, and then remember. Let me check.
For real? Yeah. We do something.
I've never used it. Oh, the default Nova is.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I knew that. I should have known that. Oh well. Okay. Is there any more discussion required on this one then?
Isn't there a command line to set a command line option to set the availability zone? The question is not familiar with the. That's the question. If when you create a volume, you can set a config option to set the availability zone.
Yeah. And that would
And why do you do this in the tag?
One, because then you have to know, first of all, which volume types are in which availability zones. Because if you were specifying something specific, for example, I want it to be replicated, but you don't have in the default availability zone replication, it will fail.
Mhm.
And you would say, okay, so where do I have to create? As a user, you have no idea where the replicated volumes are available.
Mhm.
And from the UI perspective, if you start with your Dropbox selecting region availability zone, then you cannot filter which volume types, and then you get incompatible combinations, which from a UI perspective is something that you should never allow your users, something that it's never going to work and it's going to fail 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So with this feature, you can actually query and say, for availability zone 1, which are the volume types that are available.
Okay.
So it can become very complicated because you got 4 elevator zones and 5 options now. So it's elevator zone default, elevator zone fallback, and backend elevator zone. And now you get, they're going to manage elevator zone in one types too. You know, I agree with this idea, but I do not want to get it very complicated.
Yeah, that's why we decided to include it in the extra specs instead of creating new columns and doing everything. So basically, you just, when it comes to this, it can check in the API that what you requested and what is in the volume type, it's compatible. If it's not, return an error, and then you can, in the availability zone, filter. So you are limiting the places you touch things. And you also have to consider migration.
How would this extra spec look like? Because are we expecting it to be a list and something that the administrator would manually change the values and input the availability zones that are compatible?
It's like any other configuration you do for a volume type. You set the extra spec.
Yeah.
You just accept a list.
It seems like a lot of work to maintain a list of availability zones that are compatible to the extra spec, as they may go online and offline or change, or they could have new backends added that support that extra spec. So the administrator will have to keep maintaining that value in the shared, the volume type.
The alternative is having a web page or a document or whatever for your users that they actually have to go every time and check, have they upgraded, have they changed?
Yeah.
It's even worse. So
yes.
You either start failing, the users start trying to create things, they fail, they have no clue, they have to go to a web page or whatever, where you just keep a list, like availability zone 1.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's terrible.
That approach is better than that one, but can we do better maybe?
But the thing is, it's like saying you have to properly configure your volume types. Yes, that's part of the job, properly configuring them. This is just part of that process at the availability zone. If you have many systems won't require to configure it, because they either have the same volume types in all their availability zones, then they don't care about the availability zone. They don't need to define it.
Yeah, what kind of user experience are you expecting? Like, are you imagining something like in the horizon screen that you created volume? If the user selects in the drop down
region, availability zone, and then only available types appear.
Yeah, so it would like show a red message that they are compatible.
No, you will not see that.
Oh, you will not see.
That's the thing. Instead of seeing incompatible or instead of failing, the drop down are filtered by the previous selection.
Okay.
So region 1 only have 2 availability zones. You select 1, and only volume types from that.
Yeah, but in the CLI, you cannot do such thing.
But you can do a list, which is one of the features that it's being added, which is tell me what volume types do I have for availability zone 1.
Or if the user inputs and valid param, you are going to need
It's going to get an error. That's what I was mentioning, that in the API, if the user selects availability zone 2 for volume type A, and it's not one availability zone, you immediately get an error. You don't start the process, because you can check at the API that the availability zone from the volume type and the one you requested are compatible. If you request it, there's a check. If you don't request, then either you use the default or you use the one defining the volume type. So that's how it goes.
Also, you have to actually spec every single volume type's extra spec values, key value pairs, to find the right one to show for that AV. Instead of having another column on the volume type object itself to specify it. And the good and bad thing about the extra spec is that it's freeform. They can enter any value they want. So the chances of them entering a bogus value for the AV is what it is, right? Instead of being able to validate against another column, right?
I don't follow the empty form, because we have the same problem. It's in extra spec or in a column, you really don't know about availability zone, which ones are available. Right now, you can make a request to create from the CLI availability zone your name, Gorka. Yep.
Right.
And it tries to create.
I'm just thinking from a SQL aspect, right?
Okay.
Based on columns and inspecting inside the string value pair that's inside the extra specs, right?
Yeah, you mean that it's probably faster to just have the column and specify it. Probably.
The scheduling might be, how that's going to affect scheduling, because the scheduler looks at the extra specs and compares them.
Well, for the availability zone, it doesn't look at the extra specs, but instead to the spec, to the create volume specs that are generated by the create volume flow in the API. So it's checking a specific field. So it would be no different getting it from a column. So maybe it is better to have the database changes that you were proposing.
We should add a separate column for this purpose.
But the thing is, if you just add one column and you also include the list in that, you have the same performance hit and having a key value, because you check the key.
More than one AZ.
Yeah, so you would still need to do the search within a string. There's no performance benefit.
And we will not have too many one types. So I guess there is not a very big difference in the performance if we add it in the column or in the extra specs.
In that case, now, if you created an extra, an additional table, then you could get it faster. If you just included one availability zone per entry, it would be faster, but again, more complicated, more code.
Any concern about permissions for like, reading extra specs on the volume type, pretty low bar, but like, it usually doesn't happen.
That was my -1 right there. I don't want to expose this, but in the end, either you expose it via a query that doesn't actually show the extra spec. What you get as a user is just for this availability zone, which volume type, which is slightly different. And the alternative is you have to ask that name. What do I have? Why is it failing?
Yeah, I guess that was kind of concerned. If it's hard to discover like what you can do, that kind of sucks for somebody to try and use, right?
No.
What if the user is more interested in creating a column in that availability zone because it may be closer to him, better latency, and then by making this change, the user will need to first select the column type that to see the available availability zones for that column type. So it kind of becomes the other way around, because the user will need to browse for each of the volume types on the drop down to try to find the one availability zone that he can put his volume in, if he's more interested in that.
But I don't follow. You mean if they know the type they want to use, and what they want to know is where is it available? Are you asking?
I'm asking if the user is not that concerned with the type, he's more concerned about the availability zone because of latency.
Yeah, that's precisely what you get with the UI, which the API would support, which is once you select a region and an availability zone to be close to you, you get the volume type.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. You choose the volume type first and then.
No, because you don't know. Usually people say, like you're suggesting, like, I want something in this specific area or in this availability zone, and then you filter by that. But I don't know, did the spec include the alternative showing what availability zones the type had?
I haven't added that.
Because maybe the people will also want, I want this replicated type, where is it available?
Yeah.
That's also, the opposite. We should also cover that one.
So, I guess I'm trying to picture how this works. So this is UI focused initially, right?
Not only UI, there are other aspects. That's they are mostly concerned with that. But I have customers that are more concerned with having a default type that actually includes the availability zone automatically. So it has multiple.
So in that case, it's just a normal extra spec that you set on the volume type.
Yep. And so, in the other case, it's the same.
What I'm trying to understand in the UI, it sounded like you were saying you could pick an availability zone that would show you valid volume types for that.
Yeah.
You can do that.
No, we want.
But that's what you want to add. Okay, so I go in and I say I want AZ1, and it would say, okay, you've got these two volume types you can use.
Yep.
Is that at volume creation time? Okay. And I'd say I want AZ2, and it would say these other three volume types are available.
Yeah, because otherwise you select, doesn't matter which one you select, you get all the volume types, and then you don't know which ones are going to fail because it's impossible to create them.
Yeah, if we don't filter it on the availability zone. So what happens then if you have ones that do not have an availability zone set?
You mean that they are created in the default availability zone? So I would think.
Why is that? It's not available for
Should be available for everyone.
I guess
So we need to figure out how we deal with that.
volume types. The volume type should be based in all of the AVs. That's the default behavior.
It should be.
They're always available now, so yeah, they should be defaulted the same.
Okay, so if no AZ is specified, then if, so say that again, so the scope 2, all AZs then?
Yep.
Okay.
Which is what we have right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, I think that makes sense. All right. So I think
You could eventually add a cinder comp option to say what the default AZ is, if you don't assign one.
it's
You would limit it to a specific one. If you don't want to have it assigned to all.
Yeah, the problem is that I know customers that have the APIs actually you can hit from any region, and it's only the volumes that are in different regions, in different phases. So And the default has to be defined at the API, so everything kind of breaks, I think. I don't really remember, but that was not a possibility for the use cases that customers have asked me about. I would have to remember.
You know, it sounds like that could be complicated. I would say we don't do that in the first round, and if people don't like it, improve it. Okay, so I don't think we have any dissension against this idea. Does this have, does this have any impact on Nova, but it doesn't change anything. If you want to access your storage, then you need to be in the same availability zone as where your instance is at, but that's.
Unless you change the Nova configuration to allow cross AC attachments. But it doesn't change anything.
Okay.
The Nova cinder availability is pretty loosey-goosey, right? They're not really anything. It's sort of up to the deployer to make further decisions, right?
Correct.
So we just need to review the spec then and get that taken care of. And then who's owning this one?
Me.
You'll be, okay. Okay. Any further comments, concerns on that one? Hit the easy button.
That was easy.
No sad trombone on that one. Okay. So the next one's yours too, Tommy. Mark volume back end or pool sold out.
Okay.
How about we just have Tommy take over Cinder and the rest of us will pick it up?
Basically, this proposal is an ideal. I haven't the right respect for this idea because I'm not ready to I don't know how to implement these features because I just want to define the sold out at these meetings because sold out here stands for the pool or the backend is not available for selling to new users or new customers, not available for use. That is to say, the administrator marked the backend or the pool sold out. The Cinder scheduler will deny any request for creating new volumes, and will keep accepting the request on extending the volumes and creating snapshots for one specific volumes.
Isn't it the same when there is no space on that backend?
But here is a difference with his approach.
Yes,
he doesn't want to modify anything of that. There's no space and you cannot create new, will remain the same, but he wants to add an area above that between everything is, you can do anything, you cannot do anything. An area in between when you allow whatever volumes you have to do operations like extend, create a snapshot, but you don't want any more volumes in there.
No new volumes.
Yeah, the idea is just no new volumes.
What happens when it's out of space?
But you're not removing the other limitation.
So out of space is only one case, because sometimes operators would notify users that this pool, this can be going for maintenance and you cannot see anything.
Oh, I mean, you have space for creating new snapshots, extending, but you don't want new volumes.
Yeah.
That's a full space, that's
proposal. How can you extend the volume? There's no space.
No, it's not that you don't have the space, you are still above the level where you consider that nothing else can be created. But
Administrator's artificial.
it's foreseen that it's getting quite full, but you don't want your user just saying, hey, I cannot create a snapshot. It's like, you already have the volume. I cannot migrate with a snapshot because we have those.
Why can't you update the reservation percentage then on the pool?
The schedule will not consider, that reservation.
The thing here is that if you modify any other value, you allow new volumes, new snapshots, new extents.
Yeah.
And this is about the users that I already have using that pool. They should not have problems to do operations of the already existing volumes, because there is a point where you say, okay, my users should create a snapshot. Why not allow them? But if I keep adding volumes, it's a problem. It's an area in between.
So this proposal will convince the administrator if they want to replace the old hardware for new ones while not affect the existing users.
Yeah, but I think we got some features that will end up contradicting that. Like, what if you want to clone a volume, or what if you're creating a snapshot, but you may need to create a new volume from that snapshot to use it, but you cannot. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, you cannot create new volumes on that part. Yeah.
What do I do with a snapshot?
That's different. Maybe temporary, right? You don't want to use it for a day.
Right.
Right. After I replace all the hardware, you can keep new volumes from production. Right?
But no, for that you use the disable. Usually when you want to prevent someone using it completely, you disable it and you cannot create anything, snapshots or anything. That was my first, I don't know, somewhere in the interface somewhere are my complaints, like, hey, why don't you use disable, or why don't you use the free available and everything? The thing is that all those options don't cover the use case that this one is trying to cover.
Why don't you use a waiter that after some point, you just throw all your new volumes to backend, just a lot less volumes used, because then you can pack all your volumes until some point, and then after they reach that point, the scheduler will throw all your new volumes for the new backend, and then the old ones you still can use the
Snapshot created.
And
What is the case when we similar user create new volumes like allow snapshots? I understand in this case when we do not allow users to create any resource or extend volumes on this pool. It's used for maintenance, but
here he would want to extend the volume to accept it. Basically, whatever volume you have should be able to work normally. So he was proposing to also accept extending a volume.
I understand the proposal, but I don't understand the reason.
Because as an operator, I want to let my users continue to use that storage how they want to use it. I just don't want any new stuff put on there.
Because I can,
They already have their volume there, they can.
Okay.
The scheduler should be able to handle this, so that's the right filter and where.
Yeah, maybe if not, a filter function you can put in the driver, and then you can set and toggle when you're gonna
Any new volume to be scheduled there.
So you mean we should write our own filters to activate?
No, you don't need to write it. Yeah.
Or your
you
own way,
can
that's the whole purpose of
create.
It's an entry in the config file.
but I think he wanted it to be a manual process, not automatic, not the driver telling the filtering to do something.
he wants the operator to manually say, please this backend, it's all out. That's why.
Without a restart.
Can't you do a filter function?
Yeah, because the filter function will need a restart.
Exactly.
The scheduler,
Like you say,
restart the scheduler,
but
that's all.
then it will
Oh,
not
you
be
don't need to
dynamic.
restart the backend?
You will need
Because
to
the
restart
filter
the
function
scheduler with this new
is within
solver.
the configuration like that.
The filter function is passive by default. You need to restart the backend.
And just worry about the function is not used for the backend. Yeah, it's just a scheduler, so you would only have to.
No, actually do, because the filter function is defined in the driver, and the driver reports to the scheduler. So if you,
I'm sure
the volume doesn't
the scheduler filter, I'm not aware of the request for. It doesn't know that is a request for creating new modules or extending modules or creating snapshots.
Yeah, it would deny the extending request as well. It wouldn't work.
Yeah. But the waiter would allow.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about the extend part. I'm not sure the extend goes through the.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It goes.
I've never
Now it does.
actually.
I have the same thing, like, we didn't use the, he said, look, the send and the create snapshot now goes there because potentially if you have actually run out of space according to your decision,
Check against
you don't have to.
I think you could go for quote.
Maybe we'll just use things over.
Extension of the quota usage.
It's a little difference between.
This would be the only thing that I can think of within Cinder that allows certain operations and not others to take place that even work. Cool.
Replication failover.
No, it's true.
Yeah, that's pretty ugly.
We still have that frozen thing from failover.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
It's kind of.
Right.
It was almost exactly the same. Like stuff that's still there, still exists, do normal stuff on it.
Because I think that we didn't allow extending things like that on replication frozen.
I thought it was just no new things.
And I think we allow attached, detached, but I don't think we allow any kind of
Anything else,
manipulation at all.
yeah. So you can get access to it if you need it for recovery.
It's changed a little bit. Always works.
Where's the pool flag stored?
In the pool shed.
The pool. Pool.
Where's the flag for this particular pool stored to say stuff?
The same object. Pool object.
And we run a database. So
True.
we don't really store pool information in the database at all right now. It's only against the volume that was reported by the driver. We don't have a huge one.
On the DB, we only have only the backend as a whole.
Yeah, the back end is the only thing that really.
Wait, no. We report the pools in there. It's
So
per pool.
scheduler, yeah,
That's
each of them,
like, I'd rather for it, right? Back in.
Yeah, that's your
Pool thing.
in the house.
Yeah, should be.
It should be. You see our confidence?
Formally should be.
No, that's not what I'm asking. Scheduler just operates on the object in memory that it gets back from the get volume stats, right? It doesn't store that stuff anywhere.
No,
And this value has to be persisted somewhere, because if you restart Cinder, you need to still have that flag valid to, so we'd have to create something in the database to store this.
Yep, that's for sure.
But it's not any different than disabling it, right? Like,
Yeah,
as far as
storing
storing
is
it,
the same thing.
just be another column next to disable.
Somewhere, yeah.
Like lightly disabled.
I guess my point is,
But
what
we
tables, what?
But we are already doing that when we are filtering, because we are checking from which of the, I think we are getting all the services that are currently enabled in the backend. So when you're filtering at the beginning on the scheduler, you actually see which services are currently up. So by reading,
Services table
we have a services table for
that pool.
no, that's what we are checking.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we could find a place for it, but I'm kind of curious.
It's a very reasonable concern that if we don't have a place for each individual pool.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we would have to, the schedule would still have to be aware of the fact that you can't do extend because the stats on that pool have changed and still, I guess, since this is limiting, it'd be fine. It wouldn't be a case where that would allow you to do something extra that you couldn't do. Couldn't still have that. Is there any reason why we shouldn't do this? It seems a little weird to me, but I can't think of the.
So there's customer demand for this.
Yeah.
What customer, what kind of revenue are you gonna get off of it?
It's more related to the administrator to maintain their devices.
We have a similar request from our customers too, where they want to move some backends to maintenance mode.
I mean, that does make sense that.
There's a very broad definition of maintenance mode, if you still allow extends and snapshots and all that. Yeah, that's why I was asking about it, because our customers want to pull this backend, increase module, leave all in more. Yes, not allow maintenance to short.
So what kind of API would this be? Just like admin action stuff? Are we still doing this?
It would be.
Yeah, it'd be admin.
You know.
No, I mean, where do you actually put it?
Yeah. Good question. Well, if we're storing the flag on the service, and services are listed because we have pools, and maybe it's a service API associated with that particular service. I don't know.
Maybe. So like you have service lists, this would be a.
Yeah, that's,
Well, that's where we did the freeze thaw stuff, so.
Yeah.
It would make sense, I guess. Service sell out.
Yeah.
Service fire sale for, if you really want it available. Well, but maybe, we probably should figure out what the name actually would be.
What are the the value.
Well, I think it would need to, when you do service lists, I think it would need to show that back end is.
System things, or whatever the semantic is that we're gonna call it, right?
Yeah.
So it would be a column with that page or second.
So it could be not per pool, but per backend, or
It should be applied in the pool.
so per pool. Then we have the problem that we are not.
We don't store anything about pools in the database, right?
Exactly. So we would need to start tracking pools.
Yeah,
in the database.
if the use case is really blocking the backend from receiving, volumes because it's temporary, maybe it's maintenance or you're decommissioning that backend, it really should be the backend. I don't see why it should apply only to one pool and not the other.
No, because each pools are consumed differently for different reasons, and your filter and way you're scheduling could be landing you on one particular pool more
You
often.
may,
than not.
you may be interested in decommissioning only one pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it depends on how we deploy the environment, right?
I mean, as soon as we introduce pools, the pool is a service for the most part. It's an individual backend, if you will. That's the way we've been treating it since we introduced pools.
It's not stored in the database.
As an independent pool, as an independent service, I don't. By the way I'm checking the code.
No, I don't think so.
It's
Yeah.
serverless stuff, I was scared.
Yeah. It's mostly a scheduler semantic for the most part.
Yep.
So it's doable, but I think it's gonna require a lot more work than we kind of thought originally.
Maybe we can start with service or backend. Start with service or backend, and then in the future we can figure out how to find things.
Yeah, if so, we could use the other approaches.
There's an alternative, which is basically using the JSON filter. I don't know if anybody has mentioned that.
JSON filter?
Yeah. Which actually, every time you receive a request, it actually checks if the file has changed and then applies rules based on that. I have never used it. That may be something we can look, because it could probably solve your issue. The admin would just change that file and say, now disable this one. Maybe it could. Oh, yeah.
Do you have a name?
It's Cinder scheduler filters JSON underscore filter the file. But then again, it could have the same problem you were mentioning before, that it doesn't know if it's creating a volume or extending. So if it doesn't know.
So we could just send the action man to the scheduler.
Well, you can change a whole bunch of scheduler stuff to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this one kind of needs a little bit more. Research. Yeah. But I don't think it makes sense to disable the whole back end for free. I think it needs to be a full per pool basis.
So does this mean I should propose a stack based on our discussing results and we review process?
Yeah, if you figure out a strategy that overcomes the drawbacks that we discussed with you.
Yeah, we place some database to store this, the schedule is gonna have to become aware of it. And we need APIs for setting it, deleting it, listing it, sharing it, which we don't have either.
Shares.
I guess the other way to accomplish this is to add a new extra spec, to enable this capability, and then when you reach capacity, then you only allow extend snapshots. So the schedule would have to be aware of it, and then you wouldn't need a flag. You just have to update the drivers to support them.
It's not
Almost as what, flags would be related to capacity. The capacity at a certain point that he doesn't want anymore, 2 days ago, but extending, those two things, didn't go hand in hand, because you could extend all of your volumes in that pool and oversubscribe to, so it's hard for me to understand why you would want to still allow extend if you're going to deny create.
But I think the bigger use case is I've got an old back end, I don't want people to continue to go there, but I can't kick the people who are on there off yet.
Yeah.
I need to give them time to migrate off, but make sure that nobody else comes in and keeps using that space, so that it's a never ending circle of pain.
Well, you're back to the filter where thing, if that's the case, then just change the where for that.
But you don't want to deny it.
The way you're not denying the extent. The way you work on you create one.
The scheduler check.
If you're in the mode where you want to get people off of that pool, then why are you allowing them to extend the life of those volumes within that too?
I got a service agreement with them, you need to be able to provide that functionality, but you just want to make sure that they don't add to the existing problem of having to migrate it off.
Just pull the plug.
I don't know. If you really want them off of there, get them off.
Delete their volumes.
My SLA is I can delete your volume at any point in time.
Yeah.
I think create and extend are basically the same approach. In terms of your capacity usage, no trouble. Well, not necessarily snapshots. I mean, most good backend, the snapshots can take them 0 size. Initially. Initially.
So I think the action item on this is to get a better defined spec. Seem palatable. Yeah, I can't take Tommy like food in there. All right,
Yes, one thing, I think with a small change in the filter scheduler and the JSON filter, you could probably do it. We can talk it later on. I think you got your code ready yet? What? Your code ready?
Ready for review.
Really, just a couple of lines. No, I haven't done it. Because then you have to write unit tests.
Does anybody need a break or do we keep plowing forward?
Is that, what kind of break?
Yes, for most.
Beer break, maybe? No. Are you buying?
Yeah.
I'll go see if the tap's working out there.
Just 2 to 42.
Yeah. How many more do we have today?
Well, I would say start pulling stuff in from tomorrow even then as we get to the end of the day. Unless people are like, I want to get out of here early today. I see a lot of flying stairs. All right. How about we take a 10-minute coffee break to wake people up and start at 3 and just keep going till 5 if nobody disagrees.
Sure. You can come back and argue about that.